Hello Year 2 and welcome to your first spelling test by video. It's a very strange way to do a spelling test. So we're just going to go through a few rules before we start. First of all, you're going to need a paper and a pencil or something to write with. So if you haven't already got that, pause the video and go and get that and then press play again when you come back. I'm going to give you 10 spellings, which I hope you've learnt this week. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you one word at a time to try and spell, to write down. And then we're going to go through the answer together. If you got it right, then you just tick it like you always do. And if you got it wrong, then just change it. There's no one else to see, so it doesn't matter. No one's peering over and looking at your work to see whether or not you've spelt it right, and they haven't. I'm not asking you to send your results to me or to let us know how you did. So don't worry. This is just about you improving your vocabulary and being able to use words that you wouldn't usually use in school and your work. So our first word today is the word measure. I want you to measure how long the table is. The word is measure. If you need more time, just press pause and then press play again when you're ready. Measure. Sure. I think the tricky one in that is the because you don't really hear that when you say it, do you? Measure. If you did get that one confused, remember, because we've got a few more words that are a bit like that. So maybe next time you can write the A in if you forgot it this time. If you got it right, give yourselves a tick. If you got anything wrong, just check it. Put the word in again and see if you can remember it for next time. Our next word is usual. This is not the usual way that we do spellings. Usual. 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 I have to remember not to put two L's at the end. I always want to put two L's at the end. Don't know why. I have to remember that one. Usual. Our next word is pleasure. It was a pleasure to meet you. Pleasure. 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 Did you remember the this time if you left it out last time? Measure. Pleasure. It helps when our spellings sound the same, doesn't it? We don't have to do quite so much work learning them. The next one is usually. We usually do our spelling tests at school. Usually. Usually. We have usual here. Usual. And then we're going to put the ly on the end, like we do on the end of an adverb. Usually. And I think that might be why I think there should be two L's at the end of usual. I think that might be why I get confused, usually. Well done. Our next word is treasure. The pirates hid their treasure deep in the sand. Treasure. Treasure. Now I'm going to cheat and I'm going to look at my measure and my pleasure and think measure, pleasure, treasure. They all sound the same. I just need to change the beginnings. Instead of saying pleasure, it's treasure. So I'm just going to put my tr and then I'm going to copy what I've done before. So I didn't even really have to learn that one because it was so similar to the one I'd done before. Treasure. The next word is vision. If you have perfect eyesight, you have 20/20 vision. I think most of you are probably going to tell me that Vision is a character in the Avengers, and I know that one too. Vision. And then we got the shun. Shun. Vision. And that word's going to help us with a couple of the other spellings we've got. Like the next one, which is television. Television. I hope you don't spend too much of your time at home watching television. 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 So we already have vision. So we need the teller. Vision. So I've got my vision again. Vision. Television. The next word is leisure. Now, before you go, yes, I can do this. Measure, pleasure, treasure, leisure. This one's here to trick us. I'm going to tell you it doesn't have an at in it. Have a go. Leisure. What do you do for leisure? Leisure is the time that you use to relax. So what do you do in your leisure time? Maybe you play a sport. Maybe you play an instrument. Maybe you watch television. Leisure. Really nasty one, that, because it hasn't got the here, which would be nice if it did. It's got an I instead, an I. Leisure. Nasty, nasty word. Right, going back to our vision, the next word is division. Division and multiplication are related. Division is the opposite, the inverse of multiplication. It does the opposite. Division. Vision. Vision. Division. And our last word is occasion. Now, I have to be really honest with you, Year 2. I really have to think about this one. This is not one of the words I can spell really well. And I have to think, because I know, or maybe I shouldn't tell you this, I know that there's a double letter in it. And sometimes I confuse which letter is the double. Shh, don't tell anyone I told you that. So our last word is occasion. This has been a very special occasion. It's been our first spelling test by video. Occasion. 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 And sometimes I get confused and I put a double S instead of a double C. How did you do? Give yourselves a pat on the back and remember your score, because like at school, even if you only get one more right next week, we're going to be really proud of you. So try and learn the words to make your writing better. Now, before we go, I've been doing a little bit of playing when I was learning my words this week, and I had some ideas on what you could do to make your learning spellings a little bit more exciting. My first one was the rainbows. Every time I go on my walk, I see rainbows in all the windows, and I thought that would be quite fitting to do my spellings as a rainbow. So I wrote the word at the bottom, and then I wrote different colours all the way around it. And I'd written the word out quite a lot of times, so it was getting better in my head. I was finding it much easier. I also cut letters out of magazines like we did at school, and we liked that one. But if you do that, please, please, please make sure that you clear up the mess afterwards. I don't want your mummies and daddies shouting at me because they've got bits of magazines all over the carpet. So please clean up. I try to do my letters tall and skinny, and short on fat, but it didn't quite work. So this one just looks like it's gone really far. I was seeing if I could get it to go all the way across to the page. And then I did one where I decorated it, and I did one with a smiley face. Perhaps you've got lots of different ways that you could do to learn your spellings, and maybe those are the things that you could put onto tapestry or send into the Year 2 teachers at langleyacademyprimary.org. I don't want to know your spelling scores, but I would like to see you practicing your spellings and maybe teaching me some interesting ways that I could practice for my spellings next week. See you next time, Year 2.